So my name is Burr Sutter, and
Yeah.
I'm a Director of Developer Experience at Red Hat. So I'm responsible for developer advocacy at Red Hat overall. And I'm a Java champion and been part of the Java community pretty much my whole career. So I'm super excited to see the different innovations that we have here now, including this cool code card.
Yeah, so Bert, tell us a little bit about this card. What is it? How was it put together?
Well, as you can kind of see, it's really amazing, right? The concept where it's a super low profile, you have the e-ink display in addition to some actual buttons here.
Okay.
But the magic really is on the back side where they designed the custom PCB with this ESP chip. It's a Wi-Fi chip that's programmable. So we can flash code onto it, and that code can then actually broadcast the signal up to the cloud.
Ah, okay, okay.
The part that I think is so fun about this particular technology at this point is you can program it to do anything and send that signal. Basically, it's just a RESTful call, an HTTP call, that'll go out to the public cloud. And in this case, it goes out to Oracle Cloud specifically and runs an FN project function.
Yes.
Right?
FN project is our open source project to enable people to run functions anywhere, to write functions in any programming language they want. So let's talk a little bit about serverless and functions. You know, why has it become so popular? What are some of the key use cases around it?
Well, one thing I'm particularly excited about when it comes to functions and that programming model in particular is, as a developer, I want to focus wholly on my business logic, just the core value add, which basically is the key capability I'm trying to enable, and enable that through an application, an API, or an IoT device like the Oracle Code Card. Let's say you also had like a sensor array, right? There's not a lot of sensors on this particular device, but if you had a sensor array like an accelerometer, a thermometer, any kind of luxometer, you can measure different aspects of data around the environment, sending that data up to the cloud, analyzing it through a function-based system, so function as a service, serverless-based architecture, which is very popular in the case of big data and big data processing pipelines. So that event-driven programming model, and as well as the event-driven billing model, if you will. So you're only basically paying for what you're using at the moment you're using it. So like the Oracle Cloud infrastructure makes it's a huge win from being able to absorb that massive amount of data. And then as you're processing the data to that data processing pipeline, your function as a service, your FN project, those functions execute based on those events. So it could be HTTP input, or it could be MQTT input, right? If in an IoT setting, or Kafka as another way to ingest and capture that data as event streams. But I see people even having inputs from FTP, SMTP, pretty much any protocol.
Now, these serverless functions are also connected to Kubernetes, and we were talking about Kubernetes and serverless functions, etc. Talk to me a little bit about the relationship between serverless functions and Kubernetes.
Kubernetes is definitely the area I focus on and have been focused on for the last 3 years or so. And I'm super excited about watching my Java-based applications running in that Kubernetes-based architecture. And the thing that I'm pretty excited about that, when you bring in the Kubernetes aspects, you're not limited to just a function, right? Where you write applications with hundreds of jar files and hundreds of thousands of classes. So you could still have that entire application stack, if that's what you wanted, running inside that Docker container, running inside that Kubernetes infrastructure, and still triggered like function as a service. There's a lot of open source function as a service players in the Kubernetes ecosystem right now. They won't all make it, right? So you definitely have to look for ones that have the appropriate backing and background. The FN project in particular has the folks from ex-Iron.io guys, Chad Almara and those guys. They're really fantastic, so they have the right pedigree. So that's one I often will say.
And they got Oracle backing.
And they got Oracle backing. So I think they're going to be around for the long haul. Some of the others, though, you see basically have some person working on it part-time nights and weekends. While it looks very clever, I don't know how long that'll last, if you will. And so we're going to see a lot shaking out in the industry. So you have to be a little bit careful who you hitch your wagon to at this point in time.
Excellent. Well, Burr, this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for being with us here. And thanks for talking about the Oracle code, functions, and Kubernetes. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.